YouTube, it's Lena, and I'm here today with a Geeks and Beauties collab. They are a Facebook group where if you want to get some help with your YouTube channel, your online business, your Instagram, any and all of the above, it doesn't even necessarily have to be beauty related. You could join them. They'll give you, you can do a lot of collabs. They will watch your channels and stuff like that. You make some really good friends, and I definitely recommend checking them out. So the collab I'm doing today is actually a 2017 beauty favorites. You guys know me, if you've been watching me for a while. I don't normally do favorites because I project pan a lot, so what I use from month to month may not necessarily change all that much. So, usually what will change is like if I get stuff in boxes. So I figure that gets really repetitive if I like it or I don't. Because I also go into it on my, my Ipsy bag, I review the month before. My BoxyCharm, I review the month before. So that's why I don't do them. Yearly favorites, though, I can definitely get behind doing. So a couple of these, I'm going to have to insert pictures for you because I finished them up and I really miss them, which I believe makes them a favorite. Anyways, I didn't try to pick something from every makeup category. I just kind of went by, okay, what were 10 things that I really liked using this year? And one thing, I will have a review coming up for this soon, but it is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer. I am actually wearing this foundation today. The shade is in 008 Porcelain. It is a hair on the light side for me, but I mean with bronzer, it's fine. So I don't have to use a lot of this, and I like that. I only have to use about 3 pumps, and most foundations I wind up using like 5 or 6. It is really thick, which honestly I appreciate. It does have a smell. It doesn't really bother me, but if you are, particularly sensitive to scents, it does have a smell. This has really good coverage, and it actually stays on my face all day. So I really don't have any complaints about it, except for the fact that I had to wait through 2 expansions to get a shade appropriate for me. I am super duper pale. And Milani actually started out as a cosmetic line for people of color, so I kind of get why they didn't have it on the first launch, but you had to expand twice for me to get a shade. That kind of sucked. I hated waiting. And that's why I never reviewed it until now, because it took that long to get a shade that would work on me. Now, all these things are not new. Some of these things are just things that I really love. Like, for instance, the Wet n Wild Cover-All Powder. I've gone through like 4 of these in the last couple of years. You can now, unfortunately, only get this on Wet n Wild's website. You can't buy this in stores anymore because they came out with the Photo Focus line. But now, unfortunately, the shade range on this is really bad. They happen to have one that works for me, but this is this is not a foundation. This is a powder that you could actually get a lot of coverage out of, especially if you use like a dense brush. You could get away with using it as a powder foundation. And it helps keep me matte, which I struggle with because I have super duper oily skin. Now next is something I'm going to have to insert a picture of. It is the MAC Plumful Lipstick. I have yet to come across a color exactly like this kind of beautiful, slightly deeper kind of mauve-y color. I love this color. I know not everybody's into the MAC lipsticks, and it is a cream sheen formula, which I know even people that like MAC lipsticks, not everybody loves. I happen to really love both that formula and that particular lipstick, and I think it is one that would look good on just about everybody. So yeah. Next is something that I've been panning all year, so mine looks super beat up. It is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And as you can see, I am basically almost done with mine. But this is one I would repurchase. I have a lot of bronzers right now, so I don't need to be repurchasing it. Mine is in the light shade, and it is actually a really good color for me. Because once again, super duper light, have trouble finding stuff. But it blends in super nicely. I personally happen to love the smell of the butter bronzer. I know not everybody does. If you don't like the smell of it, leave it open, sitting out overnight, and a lot of the smell will dissipate. Or try repressing it, and that'll get rid of some of the smell too. Yeah, mine only lightly smells of it now because I've had to repress it once because I dropped it on camera last year. And speaking of Physicians Formula, this is actually a newer product to me. This is the Butter Highlight. I know there are at least like 4 shades of this. Mine is in the shade Pearl. Let me give you a swatch. And this is actually a cream to powder highlight. So I love to stick my finger in here because I love how it feels. I'm thinking this is what a ColourPop product feels like. I don't really know. I don't have any like the ColourPop blushes, bronzers, or highlights. But it's like a really solid cream that you rub in and it goes to a powder finish. Correct me if I'm wrong about the ColourPop comparison. But this is just a really beautiful shade. I know Physicians Formula is kind of expensive for the drugstore. But just wait for CVS to do a spend 10 to get 7 back, or 40% off, or even Ulta occasionally does a 50% off of all Physicians Formula sale, and just pick it up then. Because I think this is really worth it, and I'm probably going to have it forever until it dries out, to be perfectly honest. Because I don't know if I could go through that without trying really, really hard. Next is actually something I got in an Ipsy bag, and it is the Essence Satin Touch Blush. I know they used to have more colors, now they really only have 2. Mine is in Satin Coral, and I wouldn't necessarily call this coral. Maybe like a muted coral. Like, I think coral, I think super bright, and this is not necessarily the brightest thing, but it blends in really nicely, it looks really good on the skin, and it lasts all day. I mean, for something that I wasn't panning or even really supposed to be using a whole lot, I wore off most of the pattern in a month. So I think that says enough right there about how much I really liked that. Next is something else that I will have to insert a picture of. It is the MAC Fix Plus. This was the year, it's the first bottle I had. I didn't really like it. It's because I didn't really use it appropriately, honestly. It's not a makeup setting spray like to make your it is not going to make your makeup stay in place all day. It is more of a spray that you use to kind of take down all the powder, make all your makeup kind of meld together a little bit more, and you can use it to kind of refresh throughout the day. And for that, I love it. I also really love the Shiseido Ibuki Mist for the exact same purpose. But the MAC Fix Plus, you get a lot more for the price. Like the Shiseido one, you get like 1 to 2 ounces for 25 bucks. For MAC Fix Plus, you get like 3.4 for the same price. So, and you can back to MAC stuff for a free lipstick. Or if you actually have like a store, you can get like an eyeshadow or something too. Next, I actually have 2 palettes. One that I believe you can still get is the Carly Bible Deluxe Edition. The month that I was using this, I fell in love with it. These shades are gorgeous. And they're neutral, but they're not really nude, which I really like. I'm just watch some random ones here for you. They are really powder. They are kind of powdery, but they are really smooth and they're really pigmented. So I could deal with a little bit of powder. You get this at Ulta, and I believe on BH Cosmetics website as well. It does have all the highlights at the bottom, which they're really nice too. They're not my favorite part of the palette. I really love the eyeshadows, and I really love the colors of the eyeshadows. I have used this highlight in particular as a lid shade, and it works great for that too. So yeah, it's the deluxe version. I didn't get the regular version, but I really fell in love with this. The other eyeshadow palette I have, you can't get anymore, but I did really enjoy using it this year. So I thought it was appropriate. It is the Kat Von D Mi Vita Loca palette. I'm sure you guys all know what this looks like. Now in the later half of the year, I've been trying to pan an eyeshadow, and I've been really lazy about using it. But I did a palette bingo with this palette. I have used it a lot this year. I hit pan on 2 shades this year in Skulls and Lemmy. And it's a beautiful palette. If you have it, break it out and enjoy it. If you don't, I'm very sorry to be rubbing it in your face when you can't really get it, except for like $120 or something else ridiculous on eBay. And finally, the next MAC product I have to insert because I used it up. I fell head over heels for the MAC Haute and Naughty Mascara. why did I fall in love with a $23 freaking mascara? The nice thing is that when you're done with it, you can back to MAC it at least, but oh, that just made my lashes look awesome with the volume and the boom. You got some real kind of bang bang boom eyelashes out of it. I loved it. If I didn't have like 15 mascaras right now, I probably would. So that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out everybody down below. As always, I do really appreciate you watching, and hopefully I will see you later. Bye.